All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into some sports updates, baseball updates. Look, it's baseball season, and I'm a baseball guy, as you know. So we're going to get Yankees updates. So that's coming. And then we have a couple of little LPDS updates that we'll talk about in the Junction. And we actually have a couple hotline calls we're going to get to as well. So all that's coming up. Plus a Cage Fact. Excuse me. How you doing? Great Cage Fact. All of that is coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but finds the lessons in everything, at least tries to, and we have a good time doing it. I have a good time doing it. I hope everybody else does too. If you do, or if you don't, tell me about it in the hotline, 202-670-1114. We got some hotline calls, a couple of them that came in this past week, so we're going to get to those in the Junction, so I'm excited about that. Haven't heard them yet. I saw that they came in, and I chose to surprise myself like everybody else here on the Junction, so we'll see the kind of material we get today. But hope everybody had a good week. Mine was uneventful, busy as usual, no toilets exploding, so that was good. But otherwise uneventful, pretty standard stuff going on. Baseball season started, though. And I love baseball, even though I have a lot of problems with baseball as it is now, Major League Baseball as it stands now, with the BS rules they got involved that changed the game, the players' attitudes, and how most of them are what I would consider to be soft. And the MLB caters to the softness now too with a lot of the rules changes. The lack of baseball intelligence that goes on now. Hitters, batters can't hit very well. It's home runs or strikeout. Oh, there's a lot of stuff I don't like about the current game of baseball, but I still love baseball. And I always keep watching, hoping that it goes back to at least a little bit of the way it was. Let the players play without having to change the rules to cater to poor playing, poor athleticism, poor baseball knowledge, inability to adapt to situations. I just saw something that now this was not an MLB rules change per se, but I was watching the Yankees game earlier. We'll talk about that in a second here. And they were talking about how a couple of the batters on the team, Anthony Volpe and Jazz Chisholm in particular, they were running the numbies, looking at the data from the last couple of years or last season or whatever, and they noticed that the vast majority of the balls hit by these players was on the label of the bat. Now, if you don't watch baseball, you're not familiar. Most of the time, the labels of the bat, like whoever makes the bat, wood bats, the label is below the barrel, closer to the handle, not quite on the handle, but not on just before the barrel starts. And the barrel is where you want to hit the ball. You barrel it up. That's the old saying, barrel the ball up, because that's the sweet spot of the bat, the way it's built, ergonomically, engineeringly wise. That's not a word, whatever. You want to barrel the ball up, and they're basically getting jammed. That's what they were saying. The vast majority of them striking the ball with the bat was on the label, closer to the label. So instead of their hitting coaches working with them to get the barrel out quicker and to figure it out as a batter, as a professional level batter, what did they do? They designed a bat where the barrel is now shifted down on the bat so that there's barrel overlap on the label, so that the barrel is closer to the label where they're actually connecting with the ball, and the bat is now shaped differently. It actually looks a little bit more like a torpedo because historically bats are thin handle, and then the bat gets thicker as it gets to the barrel to the end of the bat. It tapers out, up and out. Well, now it tapers up to this new barrel location on some of these bats, and then it tapers back down towards the end of the bat for like the weight, to keep the weight down or whatever. So instead of making an adjustment, they just changed the bat. So the hell, these guys aren't going to figure it out. They're too stupid to that's what they're saying. They're too stupid and unathletic and incapable of figuring this out. How to get out of the ball early or not get jammed. We're just going to change the bat so that they can still stink, but it'll look like they don't stink. And that's exactly what they did. They showed a picture of Jazz Chisholm's bat today, and it's a different shape altogether. Now, I've seen bats where they change the handle. They, instead of the standard knob at the bottom of the bat, the round knob at the bottom, I've seen people go with the axe handle, the shape of an axe, where it's, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's not a circular knob, because you actually can get it's more of a fluid motion on the swing. It's not so much, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always blanking on words when the shit hits the fan and the pressure's on. It's less strain and strenuous, more of a natural motion with an axe handle than it is with the regular knob and rolling your wrists over and what have you. So I've seen that, but this is the first time I've seen people adjust the barrel, just move the barrel of the bat because their batter is so bad at hitting barrels, is so bad at barreling up the ball, hitting the sweet spot of the bat as a pro, as an MLB player, that they just change the equipment for them instead. And just pretty much admitting, this guy's never going to figure it out. So we have to do something instead to make it look like he did figure it out, make it look like he's good. Now, I don't mind Volpe. I don't mind Chisholm either. I don't care. I don't mind Volpe. I think he's a hard worker. He's a hustler out there. I think he's average at best. Maybe he might have a couple of seasons in his career where he's slightly above average. My biggest complaint about Volpe is not really his fault. It's the constant comparisons to Jeter. And that's a lot of pressure for that guy to deal with. I've said it a bunch of times. He's never going to be close to Jeter. I hope he is not trying to be. I hope he's not letting that pressure get to him. But for the people who are arguing that he's the next Jeter, all the stupid fans out there, oh, he's the next Jeter, blah, 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 this and that, I love him, blah, blah, blah. Jeter would never, ever change the design of his bat so that the barrel is shifted instead of him adjusting his approach to the plate and how quickly he swings and what he does with his plate appearances. Never do that. He actually, if you think about it, his adjustment to that, because pitchers would pitch him inside and try to jam him up all the time. And what did he do for those guys that were throwing real hard and he couldn't get the barrel out in front quick enough? He would inside out swing. He would get his hands out there. The barrel would hold back a little bit further. And he would get the sweet spot of the bat and push it to right field. And how many hits did he get to the right field side of the ballpark because of that? Inside out swing, they called it. That's an adjustment. Simple little adjustment. He actually didn't even have to change the timing of his swing that much. All he had to do was change his barrel to like where his barrel, if it was leading or if it was trailing more. That's it. So he didn't have to swing earlier, because usually when you have an inside pitch, you got to swing. You got to get out in front of it. You got to swing a little earlier to get the barrel out in front of it, to barrel it up. And he's like, They're going to keep throwing me inside. These guys are throwing 95 plus miles an hour. I'm going to get the hands out there. I got to keep the barrel back a little bit so I don't have to change my swing or my timing or jack anything up too much, and I'll still make sweet spot connection with the bat. And that's exactly what he did. Volpe, they're pretty much telling him give up. Don't try to change it. Don't try to improve. We'll take care of it for you. We'll just change the equipment. And I don't even know how that's going to work. I don't like now the weight of a baseball bat is completely shifted and is different from any other bat these guys have swung their entire lives. So that's an adjustment in and of itself. Now, did they have this bat for all of spring training? How long have they been practicing with this new designed bat for them to be able to be good at hitting? I don't know. I feel like it'd be a lot more effective for me if I just did what Jeter did. Either inside out swung so I wouldn't get jammed as much, or practice getting jammed up and getting my hands out earlier, or getting the barrel out early, excuse me. I'd much rather do that than change where the weight of my bat is after 20 plus years of playing baseball with the same weight distribution. Even as you grow older and the bats get bigger and the weights get heavier, the distribution is almost not changed at all. The way the bats are designed, it's not changed at all. Now it's completely changed. I would not be able to handle that. And if my coaching staff and my analytics guys think I can't handle getting my foot down earlier and getting the barrel out more often, how do they expect these players to handle a completely new bat weight distribution? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, though, the season started. And I still love baseball. As much as I hate this stuff, I still love baseball and watching it. I can't not watch it. I can't not. I know some guys out there who used to be baseball fans don't watch anymore, don't pay attention. I get it. It happens, ebbs and flows. I haven't watched hockey in a long time, and I still love hockey, but I used to be obsessed with it when I was younger. Obsessed with hockey. I wanted to be a hockey player. But it's very expensive to get in as a youth because it's expensive for the gear, and as you're growing, you got to get new gear every year. It's expensive, and you got to get up earlier in the morning. And my parents could not support that sport, and I probably would have stunk at the sport. I'm not saying like I would have been a pro hockey player if I would have got a chance to play. No, I just loved hockey and wanted to play, and we had to pick. It was either hockey only for me or baseball, soccer, basketball. And I picked baseball, soccer, and basketball. And also, I don't like getting up early, so it worked out for everybody. But I loved hockey. I would watch all the Devils games. I would try to go as many as I could. Stanley Cups back in the day when the Devils were good. We used to have one of the Devils players, Bruce Driver, from the late 90s, early 2000s. He lived in my town, so when we had the 4th of July parades and stuff in our town, when the Devils won the Stanley Cup, he would be parading in a car with his jersey on and the cup itself waving. It was awesome. And then when I went to college and high school, I loved it too because our hockey team in high school was good. We won state championships a couple times, so that was always fun. And I made a couple friends at high school. We used to play pond hockey in the wintertime. That was awesome. But college, none of my friends watched hockey, paid attention to it. I wasn't until like the final couple years of my college career where I had a friend who liked hockey, who's now enemy number one of the LPDS, Dangerous Davids, Corey Davids, D. He was a hockey fan. So I got back into hockey then. We used to play the hockey video games and watch it again. It was fun. And now most of my friends don't watch hockey again. So I got off of it. So it's cyclical. I get it. But I'm still going to talk about baseball. I have not cycled off of baseball almost ever. So if you don't like baseball anymore and you listen to this show, I got bad news for you. It's going to be another season of a lot of baseball talk and a lot of Yankees talk. And if you don't like it, deal with Union boss Dom Delapino does and fast forward 2 speed, 5 speed, whatever he picks, and fast forward. Keep it on though, because get those numbies up, those viewership numbies up, but fast forward, whatever. That's what we're going to talk about. And speaking of baseball and Yankees, the tiramisu helmets have been revealed. They're out there, and I don't know how much they cost. I didn't look how much they cost. I got to look this up. I'll get back to you next episode. They look like hot trash. The pictures of them before the season started, they looked awesome. Obviously, the display photo, it's always going to look good. It looked juicy. The pictures, the camera view they showed in real life, hot garbage. Hot garbage. And you know people are paying 15, $20 for a helmet of hot, sweaty, back of a Cisco truck tiramisu. And the Yankees are loving it. Meanwhile, they did nothing to fill the third base void. And third base is by far their weakest position on the field right now. In fact, they had a guy out there. I don't know who he was. He's probably decent. He had one bad game today that I was watching earlier. His last name is Reyes. I don't remember. I don't know his first name. I've never seen him before. I don't know if he was a minor leaguer that the Yankees pulled up or if he was a trade or got him off of free agency. I don't know anything about him. I'm sure the creature will know more. I didn't look up anything about him before I started recording this episode because I didn't care that much. But the poor guy, 3 errors today alone, 2 in 1 inning, 3 in 1. Actually, I think all 3 of them, maybe he had more than 3 errors, but actually, I think all 3 of them were in 1 inning, maybe. I don't remember exactly. Maybe 2 fielding errors and a throwing error. I don't know, but tough. Now, the Yankees won today. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with the Yankees right now and give initial thoughts. Not so much predictions because that's way too early. It's the second game of the season. Initial thoughts right now, okay? The Yankees won today against the Milwaukee Brewers 20-9. Okay? The good. The Yankees hit 9 home runs. The most in a single game by any Yankees team ever. Second most in MLB history. The most in a single game is by the Blue Jays in like 1987. They hit 10. Yankees hit 9. Aaron Judge hit 3 home runs, including a grand slam. Awesome. The first inning alone, the first 3 pitches of the game to the Yankees, back-to-back-to-back home runs. Goldschmidt, first pitch, he led off the game. Cody Bellinger, second pitch of the game, home run. Aaron Judge, third pitch of the game, home run. The next guy, Jazz Chisholm, with his torpedo bat, got out. Fourth guy, Austin Wells, home run. 4 home runs in the first inning alone. Awesome stuff. Offensively, it was great today. 9 home runs, 15, 16, 18 hits. I forgot how many hits. 20 runs scored. It was great work. They scored almost every inning. That's what you want to see offensively. It was great. And this is kind of the sad part for me. Bittersweet, I guess you can call it. They did it against Nestor Cortez, who I loved. He was a lovable Yankee pitcher for several years, old Nesty, and they traded him in the offseason. They actually got one of their new closers now, the Yankees, out of that trade. And Nesty gave up 5 home runs and 5 walks in only 17 batters. By the top of the third inning, he was basically gone. Or the bottom of the third, I guess you could say. He was basically gone. Poor guy he didn't have it. The Yankees blasted him. And then the Yankees blasted basically every pitcher that they threw out there because they scored 20 runs. That was great. The not so great. Max Fried pitched, the new lefty they made a big deal with I think he was with the Braves last year. A good lefty pitcher. Mid to high 90s, lefty, good stuff. I think he's going to be fine. Like, I think he's going to be a good pitcher. This poor bastard pitched 4.2 innings, so he didn't get a full 5 innings, which means he was not eligible for the win, even though the Yankees won and they never even gave up the lead, and he should have got the win. He gave up 7 hits in 4.2 innings, which is not great, but whatever. He gave up 6 runs. That sounds really bad, right? He gave up only 2 earned runs. Okay? So 4 of the runs he gave up were on poor fielding, bad baseball fundamentals, errors, unearned runs. Okay? I don't remember the exact numbers at the end of the game, but the Yankees had many errors. You look at it at a standard game, and you see maybe 1 error, maybe 2. On a bad day, you have 3 errors in a game, and you're like, "Oh, the errors cost us the game." That's what did it. A lot of walks and errors will do that to you. The Yankees had to have at least 4 or 5 errors. Now, it didn't. Nobody cared. It didn't bother them, and it was not even a talking point because the Yankees won 20-9. They were smashing them offensively. But here's what I'm worried about. 1, 2 games into the season, what we were talking about in the offseason and last year has not been improved whatsoever so far. We talked about the issues in the field and how it's going to come back to bite them like it did in the World Series last year when the games are on the line and they need fundamental baseball abilities. And it doesn't seem like you can maybe argue it's first couple game nerves and dusting themselves off or whatever. I don't know, because they had those same issues at the end of last season too when they were dusted off. So that's a bit of a worry. They gotta tighten that up. Okay, nobody cared about it today because they bombed the Brewers, so it didn't mean anything. But that's gonna mean something. That was what leads into my next worry is 9 home runs and 20 runs scored in a game is not a regular thing. In fact, it's only happened a couple of times. Only 3 times in the history of the Yankees franchise have they hit 8 or more home runs in a game. Today included. In the history. So over 100 years, they only done that 3 times. So you can't expect that level of offense every time. And if you're giving up 9 runs with at least 4, I was probably more, probably 5 or 6 total unearned runs, you're not going to be a good ball club. You're not going to be a successful ball club. So that's what I'm worried about. Now, first 2 games of the season, I'm not that worried about it. I don't care. But when they're already doing the things you talked about in the offseason that you were worried about, it's already happening. That's why I'm a little bit worried. It's like, oh, guys, it's not like you didn't know these were going to be problems or issues. Like, you didn't know the third base was going to be a question mark, and you did nothing about it. And now they had 4 errors in the game. Like, come on. So that's what I'm worried about in the season. They need to tighten that up. When guys like Max Fried are pitching not bad, again, the Brewers are a good team. They're a good offensive team. They made it to the NLCS last year, or NLDS, excuse me. So they're not a bad team. But that should have been an easy win for him. Instead, he had to get pulled early because of fielding errors and stupid plays. So we got to tighten that up. There's a lot of baseball left to tighten that up. Great. But also, as I've said before, and the Creature has said before as well, and even the Wet Cat, these beginning games are just as important as the end of season games because they're going to come back to bite you in the ass when it comes wild card time and you got to make the playoffs if you shit the bed in the beginning when you think they don't matter, it always comes back to bite them. That's almost why they fired Joe Girardi. Because that was his attitude. Oh, we got a lot of baseball left, a lot of season left. No big deal. We'll figure it out. And then it always came down to the end where they couldn't take the division because, oh shit, we lost a bunch of games in the beginning and now we're down, but we're a couple games back because of it. So it's important to win these games. I'm glad they won. I'm happy that they're 2-0 right now as of the recording of this episode. And I want to keep that rolling. I want to see Judge not get, completely dead offensively like he was last year in the first 2 months of the season. So I like to keep him warm, keep him consistent, excuse me. So we got to keep up with the good and work on tweaking the bad, improving the bad. Don't harp on it. We don't need to harp on it. You don't need to go crazy Carroll style and call the whole season off because of it. We just got to work on it. I'm a little worried they're not going to. That's my worry. It's not that they stink. They stink, but my worry is that they don't think that they stink or they don't care about improving. You should always work towards improvement. So we'll see how it goes. But expect more baseball talk. Okay, and one last thing about baseball before we get into the good stuff. As soon as we posted last week's episode when I was talking about the fake drama bull crap, what happened? I posted the episode Sunday, and then the Yankees posted a video, and the Pirates posted the video. Both of them got reposted on the MLB pages on social media with more fake, forced drama. The Yankees posted, and I was just shit-talking them about it. And they did it again anyway. Where they brought this guy in. I forgot his name. He's a catcher fighting for a spot on the pro roster, the MLB roster. Not a starting spot, but just a spot on the 40-man roster, 25-man roster, whatever. And they have the little stupid fake hitting cameras, and they got Aaron Boone saying, "Oh, you did good this spring training. It was tough though. There's a lot of competition this year behind the dish." And then he changes his tune. "But congratulations, you made the roster. Congratulations, you could go call your mom." I forgot where his parents were. Dominican Republic, maybe? I don't exactly remember. And he called them, and she was so happy, blah, blah, whatever. First of all, don't do that to the guy. Just tell him you made it. Like, the shtick's over. The shtick, every time players now walk into their manager's office during spring training, they know the game is afoot. They know it. They're like, okay, what kind of game are they running? What kind of gambit are they running to get juicy clips for video views and what have yous? So they know it's coming a mile away. It's tired. It's a tired shtick. Second of all, tell me the competition behind the plate you have this year, Aaron Boone. Tell me who your catching competition is. Okay? You got rid of Trevino, who I liked a lot, but he stunk. Absolutely stunk back there the last couple of years. Real bad. Not even average. Below average. Stink city. Epic proportion stinkage. He's gone. You have Austin Wells, who was a rookie last year. So he wasn't bad, but he's got a long ways to go before he becomes a prime core catcher type. Like a memorable Yankee catcher. Who else you got, Aaron Boone? Ben Rice, maybe? That poor bastard who had to play first base for the always injured, always stinky of late Anthony Rizzo. I liked Rizzo. He's a good team guy, but he also stunk it up last year as well when he wasn't hurt. Poor bastard. And Ben Rice is a catcher technically, but he had to play first. So he might be on the list, the short list of catchers behind the plate. Who else, Aaron Boone? Who was the other competition for catcher? I don't know, and I don't think you do either. So you lied to the guy and you made him sweat it out just for this viewership, just for the clout. Stop it. Leave them alone. Stop it. And then the other one that I saw, I'm done with the Yankees. That's it. The other one I saw was the Pirates. They bring in Paul Skeens to the manager's office. And of course, quote unquote, hidden cameras, fake hidden cameras, so that he can let Paul Skeens know that he's starting game one for them. He's their number one. Now, again, if you've been living under a rock or if you don't pay attention to baseball, Paul Skeens was a rookie pitcher last year. He's a phenom. He's also famous because he's dating Livy Dunn, who was a gymnast with LSU, super babe from New Jersey, actually. And Paul Skeens was a rookie last year. He came up after maybe a month or so in the minors last year, maybe even less time, for the Pirates. And as a rookie, he started the All-Star game for the National League. He was the NL's starting pitcher in the All-Star game. He didn't even play the entire first half of the season. He played only a portion of the first half and still was good enough to be a starter, the number one ace for the National League in the All-Star game, which is the game where the best players that season all play against each other. In case you didn't know that, it's all the stars. Okay? Not to mention the Pirates stink. So you created this video to basically, all you did was you filmed a guy telling another guy, hey, just to let you know, water's wet. In case you forgot, water, it's wet. You're the number one starter on the team. Yeah, no shit, dude. No shit that the hottest pitcher as a rookie last year in the National League on a team with no other good pitchers, basically, due to injuries and just stinkiness, is going to start the game for them. Thank God you recorded that and posted it on the internets. And what was Paul Skeens' reaction? Exactly what you would expect the number one pitcher to react, how he would react. Oh, he goes, oh, cool. No shit, coach. Why? Like, it was. He was so unemotional that it was almost like they told him beforehand, "Hey, we're gonna film. We're gonna reenact this." Like I said before, like forced drama, because I know a couple of these are reenactments. So we have to stop with it. Somebody listen to this show. And take this advice, please. I know this is not a popular show. I know this show stinks as much as the Yankees defense stinks. I got it. But somebody has to listen to this and stop with the forced drama and the bull crap. Please. Somebody. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Let's get into the good stuff. It'll be a quick junction. First, step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Chica Pet. From the makers of the timeless classic Chia Pet, the Chica Pet is a new line of clay heads that grow weeds and look just like some of your favorite famous Latinas from history. They're great for learning how to garden and have some fun doing it. And they have all the different skill level Chica Pets available for you, from the multiple hairdo eras of Gloria Estefan for the veteran gardeners to the short-lived Selena Chica Pet for the rookies. They have it all. And if you're feeling really skilled, see if you can keep the Jennifer Lopez Chica Pet alive for as many years as her career, and you'll get a free Chica Pets for Life coupon if you do it. So to add a little tahini to your gardening life with a Chica Pet today. Visit your local Lupe Tortilla and ask for a Chica Pet with your pitcher of margaritas. And if you use the promo code Mofongo, you'll get 29% off your first Chica Pet. I don't have anything to say about that. Get yourself a Chica Pet. All right, the Cage fact. I saw an old clip of an interview he did, not that old, from the early 2000s. And it was around the time The Sorcerer's Apprentice came out. Probably a little after it came out, and he was reminiscing or something like that, I suppose. But Nic Cage, as of course he is, is into ancient English mythology, like Arthurian Grail cycles, King Arthur's court, that sort of mythology and what have you. And he likes to bring his interests and hobbies and passions into his acting style, the nouveau shamanic style. So for Sorcerer's Apprentice, because he was playing this wizard of sorts, this Arthurian style grandmaster, sorcerer, wizard, what have you, he kind of brought that, what he knew about his passion, into that role. And he also went to like Merlin's cave. I don't know where that is, probably somewhere in England, or I would imagine Scotland, maybe, I don't know, the UK somewhere. He went to Merlin's cave to get inspiration for his role as, not Beelzebub. Damn it, what the hell was his name there? Not Bartholomew. Balthazar. Bang. Nailed it. Beelzebub, you dope. I don't know, as a just a regular loser jabroni of a human, and not this grand thespian, Hall of Famer, if you will. He's on another level, Nic Cage. But as a normie, as a regular guy, I don't know how going to the cave inspires how you emote or act as a human. And I wish I did. I wish I had that skill set to be able to channel, but going to a physical location and then channeling that location's aura into my own physical, representation of it. But that's what Nic Cage did. And if you haven't seen Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's a fine film. It's a real fine film. I think it's actually a Disney film, to be honest. Before they started putting out stinkers, it was a pretty good Disney film. That other guy's in it from, I forgot his real name, but he's in the movie She's Out of Your League, where he plays kind of the geeky, nerdy guy, and his girlfriend ends up being this super hot. I forgot her name too, but man, is she fine. But it's a good film. I think it came out in 2009, something like that, maybe earlier. But I actually went to see the sorcerer's domain, his home and his lair. This all took place in New York City. And I went to one of the parks where they filmed the scene, and then I walked past the apartment, the townhome, or whatever you want to call it, the duplex that was supposed to be his house. Now, in the movie, it was painted black. It was a black "How you doing" in the New York City, in Tribeca, I believe it was. But now it's white. It's real tough to get away with a black apartment in New York City like that, unless it was like a museum or exhibit or something like that. And unfortunately, this is not a museum or exhibit. There's just a regular apartment. I think there's actually a storefront at the bottom of it now. But good film. I highly recommend it. And now knowing that he went to all these lengths to channel his inner Merlin and Arthurian grails and ancient English mythology, it makes me excited to go rewatch it. So there you go. That's a Cage fact. You're welcome. All right, moving on over to the Junction. Spin the logo up. I don't really have much going on right now to talk about. I have some stuff I want to get into, but we're gonna get into those in the next episode because I have to. I'm gonna. This is the Junction. I'm gonna tell you the updates on life. I had to film that episode earlier than I like, and get it ready to post earlier because I'm going to Atlanta this week. By the time this comes out, I'll be basically en route to Atlanta for a wedding. Our brother and guest of the program, Bonji, his brother's getting married. Very excited to go spend some time with the family again and celebrate his marriage. It's going to be a good time. It's a several day sort of thing. I'm staying for a little bit longer than a standard wedding of just weekend, Saturday wedding, Sunday leave, goodbye. I'm going to stay a little longer to catch up with the family and see how everyone's doing and all that good stuff since it's been a while. So this will be a good time. But that being said, I have to do a lot of pre-trip prep work for everything. LPDS, spearhead stuff. I got to prep content ahead of time so that I can still post it and do all my stuff while I'm busy out doing other things. Now, again, I could do my 9 to 5 job technically anywhere. I mean, I took leave for these days, but I can't just sit outside and film professional style content for Spearhead in the middle of a random, middle of a wedding. That's just not a professional look. That's not what I'm trying to put out there for Spearhead. So I have to get this done ahead of time, and it's a lot of extra work. Because I have to do it all. I have to do batch. I have to do it all in one shot as opposed to spread it out throughout the week like normal. So I have to make sure I'm focused on, being productive the days I do have here and getting all the stuff done I need to get done before I drop Randy off at his pals at the boarding place where all his friends are, and then head on over to do my thing over there in Hotlanta. So I got topics for some light topics and messages I want to talk about in future episodes of the LPDS. Um, they're not time sensitive. They're not about current events or anything. I got a couple people asking me why I haven't talked about these are people I know who are anti-Trumpers and they were not calling me out, but they were asking the question sort of like trying to make me think, like make me figure out myself, like, oh, maybe I'm being biased myself on the political side. And I appreciate that because we all have our own biases in life, sports, politics, religion, all that stuff. Friends, we all have our own biases that come out most of the time subconsciously. They're so ingrained in us and we don't even realize we're doing it. So I appreciate the outside feedback if a bias is coming out. So this is why I wasn't mad at this person for kind of posing the question that way. It was in regards to, I don't know, the Signal chat leak going on recently in politics. I'm not talking about it, and here's why. It's not because I'm suppressing anti-Trump administration shit. Is because we discussed a long time ago last year, not a long time ago, but several months ago, that we're minimizing political talk on the LPDS. It does no good. It's almost hypocritical of me to talk about it, even if there's a lot of objectively funny things we can joke about. It felt too hypocritical for me to talk about any political stuff at all on the show because I hate seeing when people do it on social media or in their lives anyway. I think it inevitably takes you down a negative road and is not good for your mental health and wellness. And that's not following the big three. It actually cuts down on one and two of the big three on your mental fitness and health and wellness and not being a shitty negative person. So we stopped doing it. We're minimizing doing it unless something crazy happens that is like, you know, 9/11 style tragedy or moon landing style achievement, we're not talking about it anymore. We're really doing our best. I'm doing my best to not even bring it up anymore. So yeah, it might come off as biased because it's the timing of it is we started right before the election when Joey B was still in office. We kind of cut the cord there, and now it's Trumpy Bears in office. So I can see how people think, oh, you're a Trumpster, so of course you're not going to talk about it, and you're being a hypocrite because you're calling out. Nah, there's a lot of stuff that I can call out bullshit on Trumpy Bear and his empire and what their administration is or isn't doing at any given time. There's plenty of stuff I could have been blabbing about, flapping my gills about, but I don't like doing it. I don't like how I feel about it, and that's not what I want this show to be about anymore. So, for the people who are asking about it, um, didn't mean to come off biased, but we're not talking about any of it anymore. It's over. Okay? I can't care about it. 99% of this is the only thing I'll say about it. And I know people are going to disagree with me on this because they're very emotionally invested in politics every time there's an election and a new administration and stuff like this. And when the media tells you to be emotionally invested, that's what happens. 99% of the shit that they tell you is important and is affecting lives and killing people and this and that, and you need to care about because it's important to you, is not actually important to you and doesn't directly affect you in any way. Or it's something that the particular administration, the presidential administration, can't do anything one way or another about anyway, but they're making it seem like they can to make them seem bad. Both sides. And we've had this discussion in the past to try to find out what actually affects you so you can kind of minimize what you care about. The stuff that's stupid and bullshit you don't have to care about, don't waste your time caring about it. It's not really important. It's not actually important. But there are probably things that directly affect you. Got it. Taxes will directly affect me. Safety and security at the border will directly affect me living in Texas. And the proximity to the border, an hour away. That stuff I'll care about. Stuff that affects my family, I'll care about a little bit more. So it's indirectly to me, but direct to my family. Little things like that. Otherwise, all of it, the rest of it is bullshit, and I highly recommend you don't get involved in it. You don't pay attention to it anymore. You'll feel better about it, and you'll realize, oh yeah, my life is the same. Like my life is not any worse now that I don't even pay attention to this bullshit anymore. So that's what I recommend you do. 99% of the shit is just that. It's shit to get an uprising and an emotional reaction, to get you emotionally invested in hating somebody else. That's not how I want to live my life. So the topics I will be bringing up have nothing to do with politics anymore. Long story longer. But I'll wait till I have to record future episodes because I got to plan ahead for this trip and I really got to be productive with my time, and a lot of the stuff I'm not productive with because I don't care for it. Okay, I've been very productive when it comes to the spearhead stuff that I'm working on, and that's and exercising, and that's basically it. My prioritization has been basically those two things, and obviously Randy, and that's it. Everything else has been fallen by the wayside for better or worse. Some of it, like most of the stuff, is fine. Like for instance, I haven't been pulling the weeds around the property. I like to have the weedless landscape, but it takes a long time to do that. A couple hours on the weekends, and I don't want to give that couple hours to that. And I don't want to spend the money on a guy to come do it or a landscape company to come do it because I want to invest that money in something else, like stuff for Spearhead, marketing, call list, whatever, things I need, things I want to have to build the business and get eyeballs on it. So that's fallen by the way. So my laundry, I got a bunch of clean clothes in a hamper unfolded. don't really need to fold that. Now I have to this week because I need to pack some stuff. So I got to bite the bullet on that. So now I have to do, that's at least one thing I have to do I don't really want to do or don't necessarily need to do right this moment, normally living in my house. I can just leave it in the dryer or a hamper and then turn the dryer on to get it de-wrinkled and be good to go. So I got to be more productive on even the stuff I don't like to do and don't want to do so that I can get it all done. We can continue putting out good episodes of the LPDS for you guys. And according to the union boss, bad episodes that he still listens to. We'll continue to put out bad episodes for you and good episodes for everybody else. And then get all the spearhead stuff done. And if you're paying attention to the spearhead side of the house on Instagram, whatever, I appreciate the support. Thank you. And if you have any feedback, keep it coming. I always appreciate that. I'm going to start having some more time available, more consistent time available, I believe. So expect the Leadership Lab podcast to be published soon. So I'm excited about that. Get some more names out there. So we got to get a lot of stuff done this week to ahead of the trip to Atlanta. So I can go there and just enjoy the time there. That's the goal. I don't take many trips right now. I don't take many vacations or time off to begin with. So when I do, I want to be able to enjoy that time. I want to be able to focus on why I took the time off and made the trip out there to begin with, which is to spend time with family, friends. So I got to get my shit done early, and I got to practice good time maximization, good prioritization, good leadership stuff to get that stuff done early so I can enjoy my time, but also still provide quality LPDS content for you guys too, because I enjoy doing this too. I don't enjoy being rushed to do it. I like to take my time. I like to take the week to think of some stuff and then sit down, and have time to record or re-record or fix and whatever. So I don't like the idea of feeling rushed. Now that's when it starts to feel like work, and I don't like that, but it doesn't happen often. So I really do enjoy the LPDS a lot. So that's basically like all I got going on these days. Like I said, no more toilet explosions. I still have to find a new gym. I think I'm going to go to the LA Fitness. That's about a mile from my house, 2 miles from the house, a couple-minute drive. It would take too long to walk each day. 30 plus 45 minutes to walk through to get there. I don't. That's a waste of time to me. It's good steps, and I could technically do it, and it would definitely be helpful to the health and wellness. But I also need to allocate that time to other things as well. So I'll probably end up going there. Maybe I'll walk. I don't know. I've been feeling like this happens around this time last year too, where I'm lifting good weights in the gym and getting good workouts in, but I still feel I'm holding on to some like winter poundage. Like my gut still feels bloated and fat, even though it's not that fat. It's not like I'm gaining extra like tons of weight. I'm maintaining my same weight. So it's just a feeling. And then when I feel that way, when I look in the mirror, that I see it, even if it's not real. That's just what I'm manifesting in my own brain because I feel that way. I feel fat. So then I look, I'm like, oh, you are fat, but it's not true. So maybe I'll get some steps into to mentally get myself out of that mindset, and keep the working out going. But I got to the new gym has officially closed as of April 1st, or the old gym has officially closed as of April 1st. Listen, it's good riddance to bad rubbish, I say. I'm actually a little bit even more disappointed in them because we've talked about the issues at the gym for a long time now. And I didn't realize that this particular branch of this Fitness Connection gym is like the oldest one they have in the city. It's been around the longest. It's been open 10 plus years. So I'm like, how is it the mainstay? This is the veteran gym, and this is what you let it get to? Now, I don't know if it was one of those things where it's like, it's been around so long, it's actually smaller than what, we can't add to it. Like some of the other fitness connections have turf areas to run. Some have pools, some have basketball courts. So maybe they figured, oh, we can't expand here and the rent's going up. So we're just gonna let this die. We're just gonna not pay attention to it anymore. Let it turn to a dump. So then people aren't mad when we close. They'll go on to another fitness connection. My brain is a little different. My brain is, if this is how you treat your most stable branch, the oldest branch has been around the longest, most stable, how are you going to treat these other ones that haven't been around as long? Maybe I don't. Maybe they're paying attention to them more. I don't know. But all I know is when I look at when I think about Fitness Connection, I think of their ridiculous red and yellow colors everywhere, and light blue, sky blue, and red and yellow, and I think of a gym that had a ton of potential and wasted most of it because they didn't hold anybody accountable. The place was filthy. Machines were breaking all the time. It's like, I don't want to pay for that. So I'm going to try the LA Fitness until this new Crunch Fitness opens up. And we'll see how that works. And I'll keep you posted on that. But health and wellness is the big part of the big three. So that's still a priority for me. So we're still going to exercise. Maybe I'll walk to this new LA Fitness just to get some steps in and mentally lose the mental weight, I guess you can call it. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know. But that's it. That's been the week. Not a whole lot going on. And I'm not mad. That's great. It's great that the most important thing I have to do is record the LPDS a couple days early. Cool. That's a good week. So I'm happy about that. But that's all I got to say about the week. I mean, in the Junction. Before, though, we got a couple hotline calls I'd like to get to. So let me pop these bad boys up. 2 quick calls, I think, and we'll see how they are, see who they're from, see if they're worth talking about, and then we'll get everybody out of here so they can enjoy the rest of your weeks. So stand by 1 second here.
All right. So maybe the toilet exploded because those poops you've been sending down are too solid. All right. And maybe if you occasionally had some cabbage, all that fiber, you could have sent some poop down there that would flush appropriately. And then you wouldn't have the geyser, as you called it, exploding all over your bathroom, all over your mouth, all over your face, like you said. I also appreciate that you texted your parents saying, a little bit of spouting. They obviously think it's concerning with a bomb. But you tell us it's a geyser. So you described it to us as a geyser of shit water. I think any parent, if they had gotten that call, would be concerned enough to send a text message and then wait till they get off shift 8 hours later to hear more about how their son was covered in fecal matter from the neighborhood and his lack of high fiber cabbage poop. That's all.
All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Couple things. First, thank you for the call. Always appreciate when anybody calls the hotline for any reason whatsoever. I guess the follow-up questions I have is how fast did you listen to the episode for this person? And maybe I'll go back and re-verify, but I thought I was pretty clear in I didn't text my old man the update. I called him as it was happening after I cleaned my face off to let him know exactly what happened. My old man was the one who relayed the message to my mother that the toilet exploded. I didn't relay that to them. He told her it exploded. She thought it exploded as in a bomb, not a geyser of water spraying my son's face, and it's really not that big a deal, but I'll send a text only. Because she was under the impression it was an explosion, a bomb explosion. Not by me. I only talked to my old man, JPL3. So maybe, I don't know where that got lost in translation, but That's yeah. If I explained it to them the same or to my mother the same way I explained it to you fine folks in the LPDS, she would not have sent the text or thought it was an explosion. She would have just probably laughed at the fact that I got sprayed with shit water. We both would have had a good laugh about it and moved on with our days. So, as far as the dumpies go, I already thought about that. I already considered that. But here's why it's not the case. Okay? Number one, I don't my bombs are not solid bricks like that. They're just not. They're I have created a diet that creates almost the perfect consistency of dumpy. And I'm not going to get too much into the details, but it's not too hard or solid. It's not too soft. Now, occasionally I'll go off on some crappy food, and then we have an issue with the dumpies. As we've talked about, that's what creates the never-ending wipes. And then I get back on good form, good diet with the appropriate amount of nutrients and fiber and what have you, and all is well again. The second reason why it's not the dumpies is because that would create a clog issue. Now like I said, I did some research on this while it was happening, and the geyser issue does not happen based solely on a clog and the pressure differential. What happens with a clog and pressure differential is the gurgling of the toilet water in the bowl. It creates a gurgling effect because the pressure can't flow as freely back and forth in the pipe because of a blockage of some sort. The geyser effect happens from a forceful push of pressure or air or what have you towards one direction in the pipe, into one direction. Now, that could have been from like the wind, something like the wind from an outside, area part of the pipe that blows into the house, depending on how your pipes are set up. I've seen that. I've read that people have dealt with that before. Or it could be from your town clearing out their sewage and forcing pressure through, and then it comes out that way as well. So the geyser effect is not from dumpies. The dumpies is a clog situation. And you all know, unless you choose not to hear, not to believe me, or not to listen, you all know that how I do when it comes to clogs. And you know my experience with clogged toilets. And you know there might not be a better suited non-plumber to unclog your toilet and most other pipes as well. I've unclogged sinks before with and without plungers, but mostly toilets with and without plungers. If you want somebody to unclog your toilet and you don't want to pay for a plumber, there's nobody better in the entire nation than me. And I'll put my reputation on that. And I know there's several of you out there who listen to this who would also probably stake your reputation on my ability to unclog your toilet. So, if this was a clog situation, this would have never happened. There would never, even if technically a clog could cause a geyser situation, I would have never it would have never happened in my home. That clog would have been gone almost as soon as it appeared. As soon as I know there's a clog situation, I keep saying the word situation like I'm in Jersey Shore. As soon as I know there's a clog in a toilet that I'm using, steps are already taken to declog. It's second nature. I'm back into combat, and I know exactly what to do. I know the steps to take depending on where I'm at. If I'm at my house, I got plungies, I got snakes, I had the whole gamut of stuff to use to make sure that clog is unclogged and cleared instantly. If I'm at somebody else's house, I'm dumping. I'm sitting taking dumps and I'm looking around finding potential declogging mechanisms and devices in case they don't have a plunger in their bathroom. Which I would say to that person, get a plunger and put a plunger in all your bathrooms. Okay? A, because you never know when you're going to need it. And B, you never know when somebody else is going to need, when a guest is going to be there and they need it. And the most embarrassing thing for a guest is having to unclog a toilet or having to come out of the guest bathroom and be like, hey, I clogged your toilet and there's no plunger. So I have to tell everybody. Now I have to make an announcement that I dropped a bomb in there or whatever I did in there clogged your toilet. Or they can leave it and keep it hidden until later, and then you're going to find out after the fact and still know it was them. And then there's going to be that weird, awkward tension anyway. So let's prevent that. Put a plunger in your guest bathrooms. But if I'm in a guest bathroom, I'm already looking for equipment in case of emergency. I know what I can use a number of things. And I say that based on experience of using a number of things, okay? Anything that is the length of this pen in my hand, if you're watching on YouTube land, the length of this pen or longer, I can use this. I can unclog a toilet. It might take a little longer. I have to get creative. Might have to get a little messy. You got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet sometimes. But I could do that. Okay, so I'm looking. The toilet paper roll. The holder, the spring action. How you doing for the toilet paper? Been there. Use that. The cleaning brush, the toilet brush, too easy. The towel rack holder, the one that you think you can't get off the wall, but it's actually specifically made to just make it a little difficult to get off the wall, but you can get it off out of the brackets. Yeah, no problem. Okay? If you have one of those three items in your bathroom, I have no problem dropping bombs in your toilet because I'm gonna clean it out. You'll never know. And all that's to say, it was not because of poops. It was not because of a lack of cabbage soup or a lack of fiber or anything that I've been putting in that toilet. Because what goes in that toilet from my end leaves, completely leaves. There's no shred of it, and I ensure that every single time. But I appreciate the call. Thank you for your concern about my fiber intake. I've had many members asking about my fiber intake and worry about it based on conversations in previous episodes. I appreciate it. We are right on track with the fiber. So thank you for the call. I'm grateful for that. Keep them coming. All right. We got one more call here. And then I think that's it. I think we'll call it good. Let me make sure. I think that'll be all. Let's see if this works here. Stand by. All right. Thank you, Mickey Mouse, for the call. I thought it was the last of the Mickey Mouse impression or whoever, whatever is going on there. That's just real quick. In movies, the person who's leaving voicemails in a voice like that, like a Mickey Mouse voice or some other changed voice or impression, that's the serial killer in the movie. In all those detective movies and horror movies and what have you, that's the serial killer. The voice modulation, impressions, what have you. So I don't know if we're dealing with an actual serial killer or a child pedo or what have you. I should I be worried? Maybe. I might report the phone number. I might have to report for investigation. I have the evidence. It's on the hotline. Hey, it's not just the sound of the voice. It's what they're saying, what they're asking for, and you know, the impression sometimes is not great, and it would be grounds for a reprimand, an accountability. What was that? What did Oscar say in The Office? When Ryan got arrested for the fraud, the the tax fraud or the sales fraud or whatever it was called that he was doing when he was having people double input sales in the website and in person, and he was getting arrested, and he was on TV and what have you. And Oscar has said, he committed fraud. He's like, the real crime, in my opinion, was the beard. And for this potential serial killer or pedo or what have you, the real crime might be the impression itself, according to some of our fans here that have chimed in after listening to these episodes. Not me. I enjoy them. But other people in the universe will call those out. But thank you for that call, Mickey Mouse. It's good to hear you're alive and well in your little dungeon or wherever you're hiding out. No, I'm not going to take a picture of me with shit water and send it out to you so you could put it on your wall of victims or targets or what have you. But thank you for the call, Mickey Mouse, or future serial killer or current serial killer. We don't know yet. We'll have to find out. I will be relaying the number to the proper authorities. And that's all we got today, folks. Before we go, very quickly, the big three we kind of talked about a little bit throughout the episode. The 3 pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, and being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Number 1, exercise every day. Do something to focus on and improve your fitness and health physically, mentally, or emotionally every single day. So whether it's going to the gym, getting steps in, some sort of physical exercise, which also helps the mental and emotional wellness as well, or picking up a new hobby, learn a new language. I'm doing some Italian language learning right now on the side to learn some to keep the brain going, keep the mental strong, breaking that mental sweat, or the emotional side, praying, meditation, breath work, what have you. Do something every day. Do some form of exercise every day, physical, mental, or emotional. Number 2, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person. Be a kind person. Don't be negative and shitty. Get out of the negativity. And we've talked about that a billion times. Do whatever you have to do to remove the negativity from your world, even if it's just a little bit each day. One post, maybe unfollow one page that posts only negative shit on social media. Stop engaging in conversation with negative people in your world. Whatever you got to do, each and every day, get out of the shit, get out of the negativity. It's very difficult to do because you're emotionally, it's a lot easier to react emotionally to the negative stuff than it is on the positive side. So I get it. I get angry all the time at stupid stuff, and I had to take that LPDS step back and deep breath and what have you to kind of detach from those negative emotions. So, and number 3, the most important one, and this is actually going to help you with number 2, is be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. If you're in a state of gratitude, you're not going to be thinking about the negative in the shit. You're not going to want to engage in the negativity in the shit. So do what you can to keep yourself in that state of gratitude as often as possible throughout your day. And you can do that by actively thinking about one good thing in your life and thinking about what your life would be like without that thing and how shitty it would be. And that immediately puts you in that state of gratitude, thinking about how thankful you are for that good thing or that good person or that good experience. And you keep doing that throughout the day. And that'll help you with number 2 and not being a shitty person or negative person, not living in the negative. And then you can go take that extra capacity now and go exercise, break a mental sweat, do whatever you got to do. And if you do those three things, a little bit each and every day, I promise you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Love the hotline calls. Keep them coming. Keep the impressions coming. Don't listen to the fans. If the fans don't like it, doesn't matter. We take it all here. We take the good impressions. We take the bad impressions. We take the good and bad jokes. We take the questions. We take the advice. We take it all here on the LPDS hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.